What if I told you you can get a pretty capable little solar setup entirely from Harbor Frieght for only $400, and even a little bit less if you wait for a sale? Today we're taking a look at Harbor Freight's cheapest power station, the Predator 350, and we're going to be pairing it with Harbor Freight's cheapest solar panel, which is a Thunderbolt 100 watt panel. Now this is not just a one-off test I'm doing for a YouTube video. I bought this setup about a year ago and I used it every day for about 6 months. I used it to power my little workshop you can see here. I used it to run lights, I used it to run speakers, a fan, charge up the batteries for my cordless tools, and I did eventually upgrade from this setup, and I'll talk about that more in a minute, but don't let that scare you away. We're going to go over what a setup like this is really capable of and what it's not capable of, so you can see if it's a good fit for your needs. If you saw the video I made about this last year whenever I first hooked up this solar setup, I'm sure you observed that I was an idiot and I didn't know anything about solar setups. Well, fast forward a year later, I'm still an idiot, but I know a little bit more about solar setups now. So I definitely feel like I'm more qualified to talk about this now than I was a year ago, especially after having used this exact setup so much. Now the best part about this solar setup is it's entirely plug and play. There's no sort of wiring involved, no electrical knowledge needed. You literally just plug the solar panel into the power station and you're ready to go. And the power station is what makes all of that magic happen. So let's talk about the power station first, because this is the most interesting part of this setup. So a traditional solar setup requires a battery, an inverter, and a charge controller in order to harness power from a solar panel and make it actually usable to where you can plug something in and charge it or power whatever. A power station like this combines all of those components into one simple package. It literally does not get any easier to power things. This power station has a built-in charge controller, so it's not going to overcharge from your solar input. It also has a built-in battery, of course, a 294 watt-hour battery. And I know to some of you that's probably just a number, so I'll kind of talk about what that really means in a minute. And it's also an inverter, which makes the electricity usable. Again, I don't want to overcomplicate things, so if that all just sounds like useless jargon to you, don't worry about it. All you need to know is the power station is plug and play. You plug the solar panel in and then electricity comes out. So let's take a quick look around the exterior of this power station so you can see what all it has to offer. It does have two 350 watt AC ports, as I mentioned. That's the main ingredient, but it also has two USB-A ports that are 12 watts. And it also has a 100 watt USB-C port that you can use for in or output. So you can charge it via USB-C as well. Lastly, it has this 12 volt DC car charging port, and you can operate all of these sections independently so you don't have to have your USB ports on if you're only using the AC ports and so forth. It also has this really nice screen. It tells you exactly how much time you have left to run something or how much time it's going to take your battery to charge immediately. As soon as you plug something in, you know exactly how long it's going to run. On the back of the power station, you've got the Anderson input for your solar, and you've got an AC input if you want to plug it into the wall in your house or whatever. So this Predator 350 power station costs $280. Sometimes it'll go on sale for about $250. And that is pretty pricey for what you're getting. So while that $280 price tag is pretty steep, what you're really paying for is the 5-year warranty that comes with this power station. Harbor Frieght offers a no questions asked 5-year warranty. And I literally mean no questions asked. I've seen people online say that they take their power stations to Harbor Frieght the day before the warranty expires and just swap it out for a new one. You can get a brand new one for absolutely no reason and no charge. That warranty has given me some peace of mind. I don't worry so much about how I use this power station because if I mess it up, I can just get a new one. I don't really worry about leaving it out in the cold or the heat as much. I don't worry about testing to see if I can power something. I'll just swap it out if I need to. So that's what you're really paying for with that $280 price tag, and you can decide if that's worth it to you. This power station gives you 350 running watts, and it can peak up to 700 watts. And that peak number really comes in handy if you're powering like power tools. Like sometimes when you fire up little saws or drills and things like that, they'll start out at like 500 plus watts, and then they'll settle down into the 200 or 300 range. So that's why that peak number is important. But just know that you can't sustain running anything that's over 350 watts for more than a couple of seconds. So that 350 number is really what's important. And in the first video I made about this power station, half of the comments were saying that 350 watts is not enough to do anything with, but that's really not true. 350 watts is enough to power a lot of things. It can power TVs, it can power PCs, heck, it could even run my refrigerator. It can run my diesel heater, little fans, lamps, lighting, all that good stuff. 350 watts is not enough to power some larger tools like a miter saw, a table saw, a shop vac. It can't power a coffee maker or a microwave. It can't power like an electric space heater or anything like that. And so hearing all that, you might be saying, wow, I can use this to power my refrigerator? And the answer is not really. It can technically power it, but it only has 294 watt hours of capacity. So it'll only run my refrigerator for about 30 minutes before it runs out of battery. Little portable power stations like this are not meant for home backup power. They're meant for powering lighter loads than that. It's great for charging tool batteries. You can charge a phone on it all day long. Last time we had a power outage, I used it to power a baby monitor and one of those owlet monitoring systems, like the little sock that measures a baby's heart rate and all that stuff. And it powered those things all night, no problem. Out here in my tool shed, it was a pretty capable little setup. I did have to make a conscious effort to conserve the battery power. If I was out here for too long with the lights running and a fan running, I would start to get low on juice. And that's even with the solar panel plugged in. We'll talk more about the solar panel in a minute. If you're planning on using a power station like this to power a space like this, just know that if you're gonna be out here for more than a couple of hours, you're gonna have to really start thinking about, do I really need to power that? Because if so, you might run out of battery. I'll make this quick, but I wanted to show you the power station actually powering some of the things I talked about out here in the shed. So as we speak, I actually have it powering my camera because my camera just died. And charging my camera battery only takes 2 watts, which explains why it takes all freaking day to charge. But as you can see, we have 77% battery remaining, and with only 2 watts going out, that gives us a runtime of 63 hours and 35 minutes. All right, now I've got my overhead light plugged into it. As you can see, it's pulling 97 watts, and this power station is gonna run it for 2 hours on the dot with 77% charge. All right, now I've got my diesel heater plugged into it. Let's boot it up real quick. All right, it's booting up. All right, looks like we're leveling out at about 200 watts now. Diesel heaters like this only use this amount of energy whenever they're first heating up. Once it gets heated up in just a minute or two, it's gonna go down to like very minimal watts, you'll see. Okay, the heater is officially up to temperature, no more heating up. And now it's only pulling about 30 to 40 watts, giving us a runtime of 7 hours and 38 minutes. It's absolutely insane that you can actually heat a workshop like this using this little power station. If you haven't seen my video about this diesel heater, check it out because this thing is sick. Like I said, I used this for 6 months in my tool shed. If all you're gonna do is charge batteries and run lights and a fan, little things like that, this setup is perfectly capable of that. If you're planning on powering bigger things like the miter saw behind me, or if you're gonna be out here for really long periods of time, you're gonna need something a little bigger than the Predator 350. So the solar panel, as I mentioned, is a 100 watt panel. It costs $120. Sometimes they'll go on sale for closer to 100. So one thing I've got to point out about the Thunderbolt solar panel is it's been very durable for me. It's been out there in hailstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, super strong winds, severe thunderstorms, and it has held up perfectly. The performance is still the same. It still looks the same besides being a little bit dirty. So as far as durability goes, I would rate it very highly. As far as performance goes, I think we should do a little test. I recently picked up a 100 watt panel from EcoFlow, so let's head outside and do a super quick test just to see which one performs better. As you can see, the EcoFlow one is slightly smaller, so it's a little bit more efficient, and it also just looks a little bit nicer in my opinion, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so first up, the Thunderbolt. I haven't optimized the angle or anything. Also, it's a little bit cloudy today. We're not gonna get great results from either panel, but the Thunderbolt is giving us, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's giving us 67 watts right now. Okay, now I've got the EcoFlow panel plugged in just about the same position. And again, not sure how well you can see that, but we're only getting about 56 watts. You can poke a lot of holes in this test I just did, but in this one specific instance, the Thunderbolt actually did outperform the EcoFlow panel. So as you can see, the Thunderbolt can hold its own against even the name brand like EcoFlow. That one very tiny sample size is not enough for me to say the Thunderbolt is actually better than the EcoFlow. I still think the EcoFlow is probably the better panel, but at least you know the EcoFlow is not light years ahead of the Thunderbolt. I'd say they're pretty comparable. I have other videos about my current setup, but just real briefly, I did upgrade to an EcoFlow Delta 2 power station. It has a lot more capacity and it can power things like a miter saw, shop vac, all that good stuff. And like I mentioned, I'm using a Callsun 215 watt solar panel. So I'll link my video about that setup somewhere, wherever that goes, if you want to watch that. But 1 year later, now that I'm wiser and more experienced and also more tired and old and nearly bald, would I recommend this setup? I think yes. Like I mentioned, it's very capable for those smaller, lighter loads. And if you're not looking to spend a lot of money, it's not a bad option. Plus, you have the convenience of just being able to go to your local Harbor Freight and buy it today. You also get the 5-year warranty on the power station, which is phenomenal. So if anything happens to your power station, you know you can get another one. Even if nothing happens to your power station, you can get another one. It's no questions asked. Just go switch out your power station if you feel like it. I do actually still use this power station to this day. The power station is still really good for like portable power. Anytime around my house, I'm in a situation where I'm not near an outlet and I need to plug something up because it's so much lighter and more portable than my Delta 2. So I do think this is a pretty good beginner setup, but if you have an extra $200, you could get my current setup, which is capable of a whole lot more. I'll leave Amazon links in the description below if you want to check out the EcoFlow Delta 2 and the Call Sun panel that I use, but I also highly recommend you watch my video about it so you can really see what it's capable of. So if you've been considering the setup, I hope this video was helpful for you. I do feel like I've used this exact setup way more than anybody else on YouTube, so hopefully my opinion carries some weight. If you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about this setup, and thank you so much for watching.